run first time since '89. You guys are 2-0. How much confidence do you guys have going into Saturday at Michigan?
Got to ask the players. I'm not playing,
How much confidence do you think your team has?
I don't know. I was asked that question this morning in the MAC conference call, and I just am not going to know until probably Friday, after Thursday. But I also know that really you don't know until if they are not accustomed to playing in an environment like that, then you really don't know if they're distracted or not until you get into the game. That's how I always see it.
Where do you feel like this program is right now on, the path you want to take it versus obviously 2 years ago was really rough and last year you took another step. Where do you feel like you are in that process?
Well, I feel like we have a foundation laid. I feel like we're able to compete in terms of recruiting. I feel like we have facilities that allow us to be competitive in this league. And so I feel like we have a staff in place that can get some things done that we want to get done. So I feel like we are on the road that we need to be on.
When you look at the way you built your schedule, is it done purposely to get some confidence going into
I think, yeah,
a big stretch like this?
No question. I've known good friends of mine that have taken over programs like this, and I think part of it is getting the kids accustomed to winning. And you can talk about winning all you want, but they have to go out and do it. I think last week's game for us was critical because Alabama State were the champions of their league, which means that they understand winning. If you watch the game, they played 4 quarters. They didn't make nearly the mistakes we made. I think they had 3 penalties, and they turned the ball over once to our 2 times. So that game was invaluable for us just to have to finish the game.
What do you do or try to do with Denard Robinson?
Denard to me is like Bush or he's like Vince Young when they were in college. You're not going to stop Denard Robinson. He's going to make his plays. You want to try to limit those plays, but I have always been a fan from the first time I saw him. I think he's in the class of the great players that have played college football, and I just don't think that you're going to stop Denard Robinson over the course of an entire game.
The fact that he's in a new offense that kind of limits how much he runs, does that help you guys prepare at all just because he's not as maybe...
Well, I think, Jeff, it limits how much he runs, but he's still running. And they put the quarterback counter in there and the quarterback powers in there, and he's still doing the read zone and he's still running the Q lead and so in the Q sweep. So he's still running. And I think the offensive coordinator there is smart in that he still runs all those plays. And he wants to run his stuff too, but he's still letting Denard do what he does best. And so to me, you still have to defend those plays.
You talk about your relationship with Hoke and, how happy you were that he got that job and, you're not rooting for him Saturday, but beyond that.
Yeah, I talked to Brady, and I was happy he got the job. Brady had, when you coach there, it's kind of a fraternity, to be honest with you, of people who understand that program. So I was happy that a man who understood the University of Michigan got the job, and after watching them, the first 2 games, they look like a Michigan team to me.
The fact that Gillette has played in that environment, does that help you at all just as in getting your team ready, the fact that your quarterback has been there before?
I think every year is different. I think the first thing you have to embrace, I think what happens is this, okay? If you're, let's say, at the non-BCS level and you're going to one of those stadiums, you're going into Ohio Stadium or you're going into Happy Valley and you start talking to the team about it, sometimes they can kind of push back, but they don't understand. If we're at Michigan, we talk about going into Happy Valley, and you have to prepare for the environment, okay? So you have to prepare for Michigan Stadium. You have to prepare for when you come out of that tunnel, and all of a sudden, you get to the mouth of it, and it's a different thing you see. It's Michigan Stadium. So I just, I have to get the team to understand, hey, it's not just you. When Nick Saban was going to play Penn State, you can be absolutely certain that he talked about Happy Valley and what they were going to encounter there, and so on and so forth. And so that's what we have to do a good job of getting the team to understand that we're trying to teach them how to be prepared to play in those type of environments.
How do you prepare them?
Well, it's hard. but we'll do all the crowd noise stuff, and that's what you worry about. I think I can remember us at Michigan going into Oregon and underestimating it a little bit, to be honest with you, back in 2003. And it, you know, at Autzen Stadium, you're not going to hear, and you're going to have to hand signal. And so that's really the real preparation. You don't want to get I think once the game starts, the players, I don't know, I know as a player myself, I never really heard the crowd as much once the game started. But what you do worry about is procedure-type penalties offensively, and that's what we're trying to prepare for.
You just give us the background on Mike Hart being here and what he's done for you in the short time he's been here.
I don't mind talking about Mike, but really it's about our players. But Mike's done a good job here. I like Mike. He's fantastic in terms of his intelligence and all that. But I want to keep the focus on, you know, we have several men on our staff who have Michigan ties, but really it's about our players and about the game, and that's where I want to keep the focus.
What will be a successful day inside Michigan Stadium for you guys?
To win. Everybody wants to win. I mean, you know, it's to win the game. And so obviously that's a momentous task for any team that goes in there. I think if you look at the history and the record of it, I mean, it's well in the 800s, I would think, maybe the 900s. And so I think that's a tall task for any team that goes in that stadium, particularly this. Brady has taught that team what all Michigan teams have been taught, and that's you never quit in that stadium. And so that's what happened last week. They never quit, and they believe they're going to find a way to win at the end of the game in that stadium.
2 weeks in, you guys are running the ball and stopping the run. It's early, but do you feel like you have an identity yet for this team, or are they, where are they, I guess, in terms of where you want them to be?
I think you got to prove it every week. And I think as a coach or a player, you have to prove yourself every week and every year. And some years you're great, and some years you're not great. And particularly, you know, it's all perception, but and circumstance. But I think you have to prove yourself every week. So we'll see. We'll see this week where we are.
Coach, you said that going back to Mike Hart for a second, that you really didn't want to focus so much on Mike, but it's more on the players. And in the first 2 games, you've really seen an increase in the ground production. You got the guys, but what is different so far after 2 games this season? More
maturity. I think, you know, both those guys played last year. You know, Coach Anderson does a terrific job with the offensive line. He's done that since he's been here. We have an emphasis on that. You know, Doug Downing has been coaching in the MAC for a long time. He's coached several pro backs. He's won the league. So he's an experienced guy. And I do think Mike, that's where Mike comes in, because Mike can, you know, players or former players can say things to a player that's a little bit different than a coach saying it to a player. And I think that them knowing that Mike's true talents, if you will, were not necessarily physical, but were more mental and emotional and intelligence and all that, I think that helps. And so, but it's interesting. Last week we put Mike on defense. He was on defense because our GA had some illnesses. So, he went up there and did a fantastic job. He did what I expected him to do. You know, I expect a lot from Mike, and he did what I expected him to do.
Could your timing be good playing them, coming off of Notre Dame, and as crazy as that place was? I mean, it won't be like that at noon Saturday.
No, but they've got good coaches, and you know, those guys are veteran coaches, and so I know this: they're going to be ready to play, and so we have to be ready to play. We have to do our best, and it comes down to really teaching your team to play as well as they can play every week, prepare as well as they can prepare every week, regardless of the opponent. But I do think that our guys will be excited to play. I think teams that play quote-unquote bigger programs are always excited in the beginning, but then once you start playing the game and that wears off, now where are you? Are you prepared to play and compete and do the things you need to do to win the game?
How much of an opportunity is this for your program? I mean, you've got more people here today. You got the most people that will watch you all year will watch you Saturday.
Sure.
I mean,
well, it's great for our program. It's great for recruiting. It's a great opportunity for our kids to go into a place that many have never had the opportunity to be in. and to see what I consider to be in one of the great stadiums, if not the greatest stadium in this country, and play against a program that, by wins and winning percentage is the winningest program in America. And so if you haven't experienced that, I think it's a great experience that you can always tell your family about.
Ron, what have you seen from Greg's defense? Have you seen the last 2 games?
Yeah, he's Greg's bringing them now. He's overloading, and he's getting in 3 and 4 and 5-man fronts. He's showing some zero looks and coming. He's showing some zero looks and running out of there. And so, and the guys are flying around. What I see is, what I said earlier. A Michigan team that plays like Michigan's supposed to play. They play hard, and they know what to do, and they're well coached, and so they're on track.
What has to happen for you guys to compete? What are the top couple?
We have to do the things that, what we talk about, and the first thing is in college football and professional football, the number one parameter in terms of winning games is turnovers. So you got to win the turnover battle, You can't hurt yourself with penalties by keeping drives alive if you're on defense, and stopping drives if you're on offense. And so nothing changes. I mean, just because of the opponent, the name changes, but nothing changes. We still teach our team that to win the game, these are the things you have to do. And we have a checklist of things every week that we go through.
Are you guys health-wise?
Good. We're in good shape.
How much of playing Michigan football, like you just referenced, did you bring and have Eastern believing they're playing Eastern Michigan football, which is in your mind Michigan football playing?
Well, what I think is, when I was at Arizona State, we had Bruce Snyder. Bruce Snyder believed in running the ball, and we ran the ball. And so whatever your philosophy is as a program, it's just easy to reference Michigan because they played the same way for so many years. It hasn't changed. Now, what we want to do is, because of my experience, first with Coach Snyder as a player and a coach, then with Coach Carr at Michigan, obviously, is you got to run the ball and stop the run if you're going to win football games. You don't want to give up big plays on defense. I think that's universal in terms of football. So, and you want to be a smart football team. You want to be a physically tough football team. You want to be in great condition. So I think that my beliefs come from several sources, and I'm fortunate. A guy I was talking to a coach this summer. I am very fortunate to have had the experiences that I've had in this profession.
How much do you or have you talked to Brady in the last 9 months?
I talked to Brady this summer, and it was good to go and talk to him. Our staff worked the camp, and we got a chance to visit for about an hour, and it was enjoyable. And that was the last time I talked to him.
How weird do you think it'll be on Saturday, going back into that stadium and being on the other side?
Honestly, I have a job to do. So I think once you get in there, I'm so focused on task at hand that I probably really won't notice till. When I walk in, it might be like, wow, I'm on the other sideline. But after that, it's, got a job to do.
What does that place mean to you?
It was kind of like my birthplace, I guess you can say. I spent 4 years of my life there. I learned a lot there, grew up there, and kind of turned into the man I am today because of that university.
Read some of the stories, but can you kind of take us back through your transition here? When we saw you at the mock thing, you were working out and hoping to play the NFL. Did you not get any calls or any calls you wanted, or how did that?
No, yeah, it was a fact when basically I was working out all off season. I thought I'd get picked up before camp started, but it was kind of always one of those things where I was like, if I don't get picked up, I'm not going to wait around. So I knew obviously I've always wanted to be a coach. So when I didn't get that call, kind of talked to my wife for a while, and I was like, after talking to Coach E, he said he had a job opportunity. So then it was kind of like I just took it. My agent was like, wait around, someone will pick you up. But I was like, I'm done playing.
At what point does that start to enter your mind about this may be it, and it may be time to kind of change directions?
With me, it happened about 2 years ago. After my rookie year, and then my second year in the NFL, I was kind of debating. I was like, I really don't want to play anymore. I was going to finish the year out and see how it went. and finished. That's the year we went to the Super Bowl. So I was like, I'll play another year, and then obviously that happened. So it wasn't anything where I was like, oh my goodness. It was kind of always in the back of my mind that I wasn't going to be playing that long anyways.
How about having your health? Because a lot of running backs don't. I mean, that you can walk away from the game, relatively speaking, that, you're, not going to be limping around like Earl Campbell or, like these guys who have a lot of problems.
Oh, no question. I mean, that was obviously, especially, with all the concussion talk nowadays and just, my injury history. I was injured every year in the NFL, and I didn't play that many snaps,
Right.
So it's one of those things where, I'm happy to be able to walk around and not be injured, and especially longevity. When I'm 40, 50, I'll still be fine walking around, running around.
You have a few weeks under your belt now coaching. Is it what you thought it would be?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Obviously, the time constraints, all that stuff. It's a lot of work. Coaches put in a lot of time, and it's what I expected. But the days go by fast. So it's not something that's you're always doing something. You're always watching film, breaking down film, getting prepared for somebody. So it's a lot of fun.
On average, what time would you say you arrive to work? What time would you say you leave?
I probably start to get here around 7:15 and probably leave around 10:15.
Is Lloyd talking to you now that you're wearing green?
I talked to Coach Carr a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know that Coach Carr started his coaching career here, which I had no clue about. And he said it was definitely he always remembered those days when he was here, and it made him who he was. So
now you think you're following Lloyd?
Following Lloyd, of course.
I mean, in all seriousness.
No, it was shocking. It was good to talk to him and just see his perspective on things. And he said, you learn a lot. You learn a lot. He said when he was at Eastern Michigan, and I'm learning a lot here. Obviously, it's my first coaching job. I think any job you have, you learn a lot, but especially this being my first one, and I'm learning under a great coach and Coach English, and then Coach Downing, the running back coach, and just learning a lot every day and soaking it all up.
Mike, just going back to walking into the stadium Saturday, the fact that you're walking in on the visitor sideline, but you're wearing green and white. How weird is that going to be?
I mean, these are my high school colors, like I tell people all the time. So I like these colors. I think I look good in these colors, actually, personally. But no, honestly, I don't think it's going to be. Obviously, it's going to be weird walking down. But I mean, I have a job to do. We have a job to do. We're going in there, to play a great Michigan team, obviously. But I'll be up in the booth, most of the game, and half the time I don't even get to watch half the game because I'm so busy, seeing what personnel's in and doing those sorts of things that. Honestly, I'm not even gonna notice it.
What can you do to help get Eastern Michigan players ready to go play in there?
I mean, I don't really think you have to do much. Honestly, I don't think. I mean, you're going to Michigan Stadium. I mean, it's not. They're 5 minutes. Everyone's 5 minutes from Michigan. It's only 5 minutes from Michigan. So, I mean, if they're not ready to play, then obviously we're not doing our job as coaches in the first place. But I mean, they're going to be ready to play just because they're playing Michigan.
What stands out the most to you from your memories of Coach E at Michigan, and what kind of perspective have you gained of him, not working with him?
I mean, obviously being a player and a coach are two different things, but I think, as a player, you know how passionate he was and how much he loved the game and, just how great of a coach he was and how he tried to make players better, and I think it's just transitioned. He does the same thing, as a coach, he tries to make the coaches better, which you don't see as a player. You don't see how he coaches the coaches. And then, and he does the same. He's the same with the players. But I think he's a guy that cares about everybody on his staff, and he wants the coaches to get the most out of their players.
How have you helped the running game?
I haven't helped it at all, honestly. People think, we ran for 300 yards, but I mean, Coach Anderson, he's last year they had a great rushing average, and Coach Anderson and Coach Downing do a great job. Obviously, I can talk to the players, but I'm not the one calling the plays or saying run this or run that. That's obviously Coach Karcher, our offensive coordinator, and Coach Anderson does a great job with the game planning on how we're going to run and what formations we're going to run the ball in. And then Coach Downing's the one that coaches the guys up during the game. So obviously, like I said, I'm up top in the booth, and I take zero credit for that.
Give your perspective of how Eastern, as the crow flies, is so close, and yet this is a world away in terms of, Michigan's Michigan, and Eastern's a lot smaller, not as many people are here. I mean, just how different that seems.
I think it's one of those things where, being here, I don't really notice it because, like I said, we're so focused on this team and focused on, who we are and our goals as a team, that you don't look down the street at all. Honestly, I mean, you don't see the University of Michigan from here. It's not like you walk out of here and we see Michigan Stadium every day. Honestly, we're so focused on who we are and our goals that, I mean, you don't pay attention to any of that stuff. And I mean, why would we worry about them when we have to worry about us? We have to worry about winning the MAC championship here. What Michigan does doesn't matter to us.
Of the 12, 13 hours a day that you're here, what part's the most enjoyable?
Practice, definitely. Obviously when the players get here, and that's kind of our break as coaches. As a player, you hated going to practice. It was like, let's watch film. But, I mean, as coaches, you watch film all day. You break down film all day. So when you actually get to go out on the field and practice and coach, that's definitely the best part of the day.
What's the worst part?
Getting up in the morning. No, but yeah.
Is this a paid job or stipend or what? Because you're not on the staff.
I am on the staff.
Okay, well, I mean the full-time staff.
I mean, yeah, it's a paid job. I mean, obviously, it's not. I'm not paying rent from my money, but it's a paid job. I'm not working for free either. But I mean, I might as well be working for free. But
You wish you could have played a night game at Michigan Stadium?
I mean, I've played partial night game there before, but no, I mean, football's supposed to be played at 12 o'clock, as Bo would say.
What was it that made you start thinking you wanted to walk away fairly early on in the NFL?
I figured, I mean, part of it was that I wasn't playing that much. It wasn't as fun, obviously, just real business-like. I mean, I enjoyed when I played, but at the same time, I didn't look forward to going to work every day, and I never wanted to look at football like that. I was to the point where I was like, I don't even know if I want to coach anymore, and that's when I knew I was like, it's time for me to get away from this league.
What's that day like when you wake up and you said this isn't fun anymore?
What's it like? I mean, I guess it's just one of those are the miserable days, where you're just not happy. And but like you said, everyone doesn't love their job. But I was hoping I would love I want to love my job, and I love my job now. And I would never want to do something that I'd come in every day and not want to be there, And that's what it was turning into.
You living in the area with your wife and kids?
Yes.
Taking this home?
Yes.